Ben Verner, aka Presidente. Ben is a guy I would go to battle with any day.
He's a really good guy, really humble, really down to earth, and just one of those people you like to call a friend.
He's a great leader, just a great guy.
There's no one else in the world that can do what he does at the level he does it, doing so many things, wearing so many hats. He is a true leader, and that's what it takes to be the president of a company, to have everybody stand behind you, and no matter if you're right or wrong, everyone's going to back him up and truly believe in him.
Ben's fun to work with, but at the end of the day, he also he's a very, very sharp business mind, and he's the biggest one on our team, so we don't like to tick him off because his arms are about the size of a gorilla, so he keeps us all in check.
Josh Reed, aka Peanut.
Josh Reed, tons of experience, big box sales sides. He's probably our best merchant. He understands how these big accounts buy, how they set the floor, and what they're looking for.
Anytime I ever had an interaction or talked to people that had interaction with Josh, it was always they had nothing but good things to say. He was always, one of their favorite people to work with.
So Josh Reed is our quiet guy, but he's anything but quiet in real world application.
He's not going to be like your rah-rah, hooting and hollering guy. He's rock steady, and he's going to do it every time, 100%, and get the job done.
He's my brother, and he's also my best friend.
Doc Reed, just complete heart and soul of what we do. We call him the Reverend. We're opening with a prayer. Nobody eats without saying a prayer. It's something that's so great for our team, but above and beyond that, he brings a work ethic that is second to none.
He's a very good guy, like really caring, really laid back, really into family and the things that are really important in life.
Doc is our follow-up person. He's very, very good at numbers, very, very good at following up with people. We like to nickname him our Vice President of Worry, because he's constantly nervous about when product's coming in, making sure the product's right, and ultimately making sure that our high level of performance is attained with our partners that we work with on the sourcing side of the business.
We take care of each other, and at the end of the day, this family, this place is a family. And so, not only having my sibling as a team member, is having this whole crew as my family as well. So Doc's a very important part of this company and does a great job for us.
Jason Hart, aka Heartbreaker.
Jason Hart is such an asset to the team in a way that I can talk about it, but until you see it happen, you don't really understand.
So Jason Hart, I like to call Jason Hart the Magic Man. He truly is the governor, and I've never seen anything like it in my life. An individual that can command the room like no one else.
Hart would give you the shirt off his back. That's who he is. And he's got to be one of the funniest dudes I've ever been around in my entire life.
I don't call him the mayor for no reason. It's everybody loves Jason Hart.
And I like to say about Hart, yeah, he's funny. He likes to have a good time. But if I had an issue or if I was stranded somewhere, all I have to do is call.
But the value of him, it can't be measured, because being the Magic Man, he can make anything happen at any time.
Brad Stubbs. Brad is someone I get to know more and more every day. Brad's doing our operations here, and I get to work with him on a daily basis now with our imports and our distribution. And
so right now he's wearing a lot of different hats. I think he's our director of operations, but ultimately he could have about 50 different titles right now if he wanted to.
I don't know where we'd be in this company at this point without him, with all the back end stuff and just the willingness to just jump in and take on any task that we give him. And man, we gave him the keys. We said, look, we're going to invest a lot of money in these systems. We're going to be huge. We're going to do the best we can, but we can't do it without a back end of this company that's going to run smoothly with the best technology and satisfy what our customers need. And he took that ball and ran with it, and saved the day in a lot of ways, because
It's not something we were good at. It's not something we were going to focus on. And like I say, stroke of luck, and the timing worked out. And we're glad to have him.
No matter what the task, no matter how hard it is, no matter how incredibly difficult it may be in the time frame he's given, he will make it happen no matter what.
Drew Herma, aka Warbird, aka Crack Rabbit.
After we started the company, everybody said Drew's going to be the newest guy that we hired. So I said, all right, how are we going to hire this? We're hiring this kid for marketing. And ultimately, at the end of the day, he's probably our hardest worker.
It's just rare that you see someone do the things that he's willing to do to make it happen.
So Drew Herma on the marketing side just brings a level of energy and execution to this team that we can't match. He does the work of 3 or 4 people.
Drew Herma has got to be the most energetic person I've ever dealt with in my entire life.
Branding is not easy, and at the end of the day, having him on the team has made a lot of difference.
It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of fun, and I can't trade this team for anything in the world. So the Spanish Fly project, from a boat standpoint, really started from me just looking for a boat. I mean, we needed something that we would be able to engage our consumers at the tournament level. I mean, these are the guys that spend a crazy amount of money every year fishing, and we knew that they would be the ones to invest in a fishing specific shirt and embrace our brand. So in looking for a boat, honestly stumbled across it on Boat Trader, and the listing was crazy, and I had to investigate it, but it said as seen on ESPN in the Spanish Fly TV show. And immediately I sent Chrissy a text. She had known about it. It had been on the market for a little while, but immediately we jumped all over it. It was one of the few ways that we could relaunch a brand that was so important to everyone. And we entered into that project. Fortunately, all the big guys were involved: Mercury, Ray Marine, CV. Everyone stepped up to kind of rejuvenate the boat, and off we went. So the boat really unveiled at the Ocean City Tuna Tournament in late June. The project itself started with the purchase in March. Hey, let's get the boat from Miami down to where we want the work done to it. Let's get CV involved. Let's get Mercury involved. Ray Marine. Everybody that was a piece of the Spanish Fly show. We were right down to the wire. We picked it up the week before in Key West, drove it up to Maryland, dropped it in the water. The wind blew like hell for 3 days, and off we went. Showed the world the boat, and it was interesting. So reception-wise, going down there in a big dually wrapped truck with Spanish Fly on it, picking up the Spanish Fly boat. I mean, you're rolling through Florida like royalty. I mean, people are fist pumping out the window, beeping horns. Everywhere you stop for gas or for a bite to eat, it was a story about how Jose touched somebody's life. It's like, oh yeah, I met that guy, or I fished with him once, or I knew so-and-so. And it was just really cool to pull all that vibe in as you're coming up the coast. Really dropping that boat in the water in a place that had never been before, to go offshore and fish some canyon tournaments in the Northeast.
We get the boat up to Maryland, and that was a nightmare in itself, but everything went extremely well, which I was shocked. The first day we get into the tournament, we get in a day early. We didn't have any days to pre-fish. The weather picked up, and it was just blowing like no other. So we dropped this boat in the bay, ran it a couple times, brand new engines, brand new electronics. The first time you're on the boat and in the water, you just think about all the shows and all the history that this boat has, and it brought chills to me that this is incredible that we're going to be a part of this. Someone you grew up idolizing, he's my Michael Jordan. To be a part of that and actually be on his boat was extremely special. Now here comes reality. We need to turn and burn and get this boat ready and outfitted in 24 hours to run 65, 70, 80 miles offshore. A boat that we've never ran, a crew that's never fished together, and also running a company at the same time. And prepping, the canyon fishing is something that's new to me. I've been a little bit on charter boats and experienced a little bit of it, but doing it yourself is a whole new ball game. And having a captain like Ben and having Doc Reed run the cockpit, you really can rely on the rest of your team to kind of point you in the right direction and help be a support system to them throughout the prep process, which it's fun at the same time. It's extremely stressful because this is a tournament, this is big money, and we want to do well. And that's just the inherent nature in all of us. We want to win this tournament. We're not going into this looking for a fun time. We're going into this to be the best boat there and test our gear and make sure our product is the best available product in the market. That stress and that pressure leads to a lot of anxiety.
Like, okay, now we have this great boat. It's got new motors. It's got new electronics. It doesn't have a rod on it. There's not a hook on it. There's not a gaff. So what do we need to do? Thankfully, guys like Shimano and Seaguar, any number of folks kicked in to help with the project.
We get in, we unload, we have brand new gear. So all new Shimano reels, Shimano rods, line, tackle, and we're sitting at the house together, laying out a game plan and kind of divvying up responsibilities for each guy. But, that's 5 days worth of prep work that every other team in the tournament has done that we're doing in 24 hours, not sleeping, setting drags, putting line on reels, rigging baits. Just every little nuance of this boat had to be put together, from life jackets to getting the proper cards for electronics so we could actually see where we were.
As a team, we're teaching folks how to tie knots. I mean, it was really like on that level of like, hey, we need to spool these rods up, and people are cranking, and they may never have cranked a rod handle before that, was just pulling line on, or had something that was over the size of a bass, or if it wasn't a tuna, it was just new territory for them. And in terms of that preparation and really seeing all sides of what goes into fishing a tournament on a small boat like that. So going into day one of the tuna tournament, it was, nightmare scenario in the first 6 hours. We have a brand new crew. We have an 8-year-old boat that is very nice at this point. It's been completely redone, but it's got a lot of new parts on it. It's got new motors, new electronics that I just figured out how to turn on, and off we go 70 miles. Put the boat in gear, we're untying lines, and Doc falls.
My foot slid, and on the beautiful Spanish fly, there's a nice sharp edge to a rod holder, and it gashed my shin. So I walk back, we're pulled out, we're going right behind the boat in front of us, getting a ride, and prop my leg up, and then that's when I see the bone.
I'm driving, unbeknownst to me, they're like super gluing Doc's leg and duct taping him back there. He's saying he's fine, he's ready to go. And we actually get out. I can see Rob. He's gonna wait for us, so we're putting out, we're going through the channel, and a starboard motor dies. So here we are 10 minutes into the trip. We've got a guy that needs stitches and first aid attention. We dropped the motor, leaving the inlet, and it's just one of those things. You're rolling out into 5 and 6 footers in the inlet. It wasn't that bad out in the ocean, but they were stacked up pretty good right there. I just turned the boat around. I was like, you know what? We got 2 motors. We're going back.
And here we are. Everybody's offside. Yeah, we're going out. And we turned the thing back around like a old broke-legged dog coming back in. And we're like, tails between our legs. Oh, we're not going to make it.
Fortunately, we're able to pull it together and turn around. Off we went. But we lost our ride. So, first time in the boat. First time really driving the boat anywhere than outside the back bay. In the pitch black, eating waves. It was a nerve-wracking experience.
Jumping in it and riding for 60 miles, it's kind of like strapping yourself to a boat paddle, putting a rocket ship up under it, and hanging on for your dear life.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, Jose's boat was designed for, fishing in the Keys and going a couple miles out. Going 99 miles out in a 37-foot boat while other guys are out in these big $2, $3, $4 million 60-foot plus boats. It beat us up a little bit. I might have lost a little bit of cartilage in my knees, but we paid our dues.
We're leaving the inlet. We're headed 65 to 70 miles out to Washington Canyon. And the reason we're going there, the tuna had been kind of scattered, but the day before, someone caught a big eye that night. And that's what we're fishing for. I mean, in the Ocean City Tuna Tournament, you're going to win with a 250-pound big eye, and it can happen to anyone, but they're school fish, and you got to fish where they are. So immediately, everyone on the dock, when they come in with the fish, we're just like, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. We're all going to the same place.
We pulled up to this thing, and it looked like a Walmart parking lot. I mean, it was congestion after congestion. I thought somebody was going to rip somebody's outriggers off if that passed by. It was crazy. It was ridiculous is what it was.
You get out there and you see all your friends. I mean, you drive over thousands and thousands of fish to get there to catch that one special one to win a tournament. It's not a great experience for somebody that's just getting into it, navigating through the pile of 60-footers. They're all pushing you out of the way. But it's what we did. I mean, if we got lucky enough to drive over the biggest one, we'd have been heroes. At the end of the day, we really sucked. PEI bluefin tuna. It's something that, I'd always wanted to do. We obviously had a need to test product, be up there with the best charter captains in the business. And we had this other little thing that happened along the way where, we're negotiating with Skeet Reese, and he kind of snaked into his deal a grander bluefin. And maybe not officially in the contract, but a handshake deal that if he came on board, we'd be going to catch a grander bluefin in PEI. And that's what we did. We took Mr. Hollywood, the bass fishing world, up to Prince Edward Island, and we hooked him up to a 1,000-pound tuna.
(1992, 1993, somewhere around that time frame), I watched a video produced by a gentleman named Lee Wolf, probably in his 1960s. Created this video fishing for bluefin tuna. And on the East Coast over here, I believe it is Nova Scotia area at the time, what I remember. I still vividly, this is 20 some odd years later, I remember vividly that video, watching it for the first time. And the camera footage they got was absolutely insane. They had these groups of 1,000-pound plus bluefin tuna coming out of the water. And they look like somebody dropped a Volkswagen bus in the water exploding. And I mean, I remember watching this one. So to be able to come up here in Prince Edward Islands this week and fish with the Bruce brothers and chase giant bluefin tuna, this is a 20+ year in the making dream trip. Could it have gotten any better? Absolutely not. For you to watch this on television, on a computer, wherever you watch this, the footage from this show still doesn't do it justice. Because for me to be on the boat and actually chum the fish up, which you're throwing out baits, they might look this small to you. The baits we're throwing out there, dead baits, 12, 14, 16-inch baits. You throw it a few feet from the boat, and when you have 500 to 1,000+ pound class fish boiling 5 feet from you, eating, it's the single greatest fish feeding experience I've ever seen in my life. So when they said, "Are you ready?" I'm like, click, click, you're like, Oh boy. To be able to be part of the Hook Gear group and come and fulfill a dream that I've had instilled for so many years, life is good. I can go win the Bassmaster Classic tomorrow. It'd be great. I've already checked that off. So today, I got to check off one of the greatest things I've ever wanted to do in fishing.
Bucket list complete.